Today, I'm going to run you through one of my new favorite pieces of gear. It's the T-Rack by Tumbleweed Bicycles. And even better, I get to give one away. It's pieces of gear like this that make the question, what is bikepacking, harder and harder to answer. The line between bike touring and bikepacking is becoming more and more blurry, but I think that's a win-win for everybody. We all get better gear that's more versatile, lighter, and more effective for what we're trying to use it for, which is just getting out on a bike and having a good time. Good pieces of gear solve one problem, and great pieces of gear solve multiple. That's what they've done with the very simplistic design at Tumbleweed Bicycles. I finally have found a rack after all my years of bike commuting, bike touring, bike packing that I could recommend to just about anybody because of its versatility and how useful it is. So let's get into the Tumbleweed rack. Oh, I need to disclose that this is not a sponsored video, but Tumbleweed did send me that rack free of charge. They didn't come to me, I went to them. Specifically because after looking all over the internet, I finally feel like I found a rack that really appealed to me. And I was able to reach out to the owners directly, and we talked a bit about it. And since they're such a cool cottage company, they're willing to give away a rack completely free to one of the people that are subscribed to my channel. So stick around to figure out how to win this rack. And all the thoughts that I plan on sharing with you today are completely my own. Tumbleweed has no say in what I tell you about this rack. These are all my own opinions. And whether they had sent me this rack or not, I was going to buy it, just because of all the features that are included in it. So first off, we're going to get into some of the specifications of the rack. And then from there, I'm going to share some of my opinions, which I think are the most important part of this whole video. We had a bit of a power outage here at the home studio, which is actually just a residential home. And a big storm rolled through. It's a hot day, whatever. It's neither here nor there. We're going to get into a couple of facts and specs about this rack, and then from there I'm going to elaborate on some of my favorite parts after that. I'm going to be reading off a little bit of a sheet here in front of me. I might look distracted, but I'm just trying to get the facts straight for you. That's all. So the rack comes in at 649 grams, made out of chrome moly steel. The top platform of the rack is 120 millimeters wide and 300 millimeters long. It has a weight capacity of 30 pounds. It can be used as a front or a rear rack, and it comes in two heights, 355 millimeters and 380 millimeters, accommodating tire sizes up to 29 by 3.5 inch, which is massive. There are 3 bottle bosses on each support leg, and you can mount it to any bike that has weight-bearing threaded mounts at your dropout, with an adapter for the fork crown or a third-party adapter that can clamp onto your C-post, both of which I'm going to link in the description. And if you're looking for a design with a slightly higher weight capacity, they have the mini pannier rack that holds 40 pounds as well, and is set up a little bit better for panniers if you're going to go that route. So here's some of the 2024 updates for this rack. I did not have a previous version. This is the one and only that I've owned so far, so I can't compare how they stack up to one another. But one of the coolest new features, in my opinion, is that they have an internal routing port. So you can route a dynamo wire from your light to your rear tail light, or vice versa if it's on the back of your bike. And that's specifically so it doesn't interfere with a mounted pannier or bags, which could easily rub a hole through your wire. Genius design. Another one of those small details that they thought of. The next update that they made was they completely redesigned the mounting hardware for the struts to decrease the likelihood that will come loose on rough terrain. I'm really excited to see how that holds up over the Oregon Timber Trail that I'm going to do this summer. They increased the tube diameter of the vertical strut in the rack to make it more stable while loaded with weight. And they have included 2 sets of extra long mounting struts. One is straight and one is offset, so you can fit this on a more wide variety of bikes. These are the full length right here at 350 millimeters. And I've already cut down the straight ones and put them on that bike. Like I said earlier in the video, the world between bike packing and bike touring are starting to blend. And I think that's so good for everybody, because you get amazing products like this. Just to start out, that 3-pack of bottle bosses on the side where I can mount small bags or Nalgene's is something that I think should be standard on every single rack, and it's such an intelligent idea. And it added so much functionality to my bike by just having that simple thought put into it. For example, this bag right here, this is my harness by Revelate Designs. Not to knock Revelate, they make all sorts of great products as well. This particular harness, without a dry bag in it, weighs in the 430 gram range, and that holds a 14-liter dry bag. In comparison, for an extra 200 some grams, you can get a lot more versatility with this rack. I could take the dry bag from that harness and put it right on that rack, along with having additional water storage or mini panniers. You can get a lot more flexibility out of your setup for just 200 more grams. On top of that, if you try and put 30 pounds into a harness like that, you are going to be very, very sad. Another aspect is if you are trying to use a dropper post. Let's say you have a hardtail mountain bike and you are going out to do something really rugged and still have storage on the back as long as you keep it under 30 pounds. And when you're running front suspension, you have a lot less storage options up front. And there's very few times that there's a 3-pack on the back of a bike. So being able to take that rack and throw it on the back takes a hardtail mountain bike and makes it a lot more versatile. Additionally, when you're bike packing, your cockpit already very cluttered. I have 2 feed bags up there. I've got a quad lock. I have sometimes a bell. I have a charger for my dynamo hub. Being able to get that light away from my handlebars and down on the rack, completely out of the way. And they've improved on it even further by giving me dynamo routing so I can cleanly get my wire to the back of the bike. So having something purpose-built for bike packing that can withstand rough terrain, but also has the capability of carrying heavier, larger loads as more of a touring setup or a touring consideration would be, I think it's the best of both worlds. I've already taken it on a few shakedown trips here in Michigan, but this summer I'm going to really put it through its paces on the Oregon Timber Trail, and we're going to see what this thing's really made of. But having the confidence that it's a bike packing oriented rack and it was not going to vibrate to pieces while I'm out there, and the fact that I can mount it on so many different bikes made this the perfect rack for my needs. And I'm so excited to give one away. Here's how you can win this rack. Unfortunately, if you live outside the United States, you are not eligible to win this. I really, really appreciate that Tumbleweed was willing to give me a free rack to give away to one of my subscribers, so punishing them with having to pay for international shipping on top of that just seems a bit unfair, so we're just going to keep it for people in the United States. Here's how you can win one of these racks yourself. You just have to do 2 things. 1, be subscribed to the channel, and 2, leave me a comment below where you're going to take this rack or what kind of bike you're going to put it on. You can get an additional entry if you tag someone in that comment as well. And the full list of rules will be in the description and pinned in the comments. And in 30 days from today, I'm going to pick one person at random. And as long as you meet that criteria of the rules and regulations posted below, we will send a rack out to you free of charge. Thanks so much to Tumbleweed once again for sending a rack out that I could give away to one of my subscribers, for being a great company and letting me check out some excellent gear that I think personally fits anyone's needs more than anything else on the market like it. Thanks for watching. Good luck.